What's going on, party people? Core conversations for a Thursday. Dad goals as always, and we are just going to chop it up. Thank you for joining us, and let's get this going. Hi, Tammy. We are Pilates House. What's going on? Okay, Core Conversations podcast. Everyone's just rolling in now. Healthy by you. What's going on? What's going on in terms of workshops or seminars? Anything coming up? I know Ideas coming up. I know the CanFit Pros coming up. Some bigger like fitness conferences are on the horizon. Anything in the Pilates world that we want to talk about? Like, subscribe, and share. How's it going, Renee? Hi, Raquel. Hope everyone's doing well. Hi, Shanti. What's going on? Hi, my love. What's going on? All good, Shanti. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for jumping in, everybody. We had a great time yesterday talking about moms and Pilates. We talked pelvic floor, pre and postnatal. We talked diastases, recti, all these things. So those are all different parts of the conversation that came in yesterday as we were chatting. And I want to review that among other things, but just want to see where everyone's at. How is it going? Okay, so as I was asking before, if you have any classes to put it in the comment section, and Tammy has put here that I've opened up 3 trauma-informed movement courses, and so please message her, follow Studio T Pilates Michigan, MI, and DM her for more information on that. What else is going on? That's what we were talking about yesterday, just like how Laura had some classes that are coming up. This almost becomes like an accountability practice too, right? Like, do you have stuff in the pipeline that you're thinking about putting out there? Throw it out there. Like, I know, for example, like I've put on pause some of the courses I was thinking about doing, a Pilates to PT course. I'll throw it out there for you in case maybe you have a passion to do it and you can put it together faster than I can. I want to do a Pilates to personal training course. Obviously, no time to do it right now, but I believe that a lot of the personal trainers out there, like myself originally, coming into the Pilates world because they understand movement, they understand, teaching and all these different things. Giving them another method is like just teaching them another language. Give them that language, I think they'll be better personal trainers and better Pilates people as a result of it. So I want to create a space for that and draw people in to do that sort of thing. So that's kind of one of the courses that I have on the back burner for now. Something that's written down and that's going to happen eventually. But yeah. What do you have going on? Let's talk about our plans, our business projects. Those classes are coming up, those courses we've been thinking about. Even online classes. Like I have an online class today at 1:30. So if you have any online just teaching classes, not courses or anything complicated, but just the online stuff that anyone on the planet can come and join you, please put it in the comment section as well. Hi, Karthik. Coach, where are you located? Oh, yes. Thanks so much, Shanti. Okay, so now We Are Pilates House has just posted that there's a course, Pilates instructor survival guide. And actually, if you want to join me on screen and talk about it, you can. Hey, Jessica. How are you doing? And Jessica, actually, if you want to join me too, we're like a week out from Momentum Fest. I've had all kinds of people on. I think I just poached everyone that was at Momentum Fest for the last 2 weeks to come on. Okay, just got to Ireland. So Jessica, give me a thumbs up if you want to join me. We Are Pilates House, if you want to come on and talk about your survival guide course coming up too, that'd be amazing. I am Me Pilates Fitness, what's up? All right, so We Are Pilates House is going to be joining us quickly here just to see what's going on. Oh, and Jessica too. Okay, let's see how this goes.
Oh,
Oh, there it is. I was like, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I was like, oh no. I wasn't sure if it would work. I can see you. Maybe it's not a. We can
Really
try again
choppy.
another time.
So wait, you're in Ireland right now? What's...
Yes, we are being wildly irresponsible and hanging out in Europe for a month.
Nice.
So
Yeah, sounds awesome.
it's great.
It's-
Yes, Ireland is
Sorry.
the first stop, and then we're doing Portugal, Sicily, and then
Amazing.
Italy. More in Italy.
Yes, I'm gonna follow
It'll
along
be
in your
fun.
stories.
Yeah, I'd love. I'd love to say that it's like for Pilates and I'm going to be doing Pilates everywhere, but I'm taking like a full-on hiatus.
Unplug.
All things.
Love it.
Great.
So what was
Yes.
that course that you're talking about?
Yeah. Yes. So hopefully launching this fall is the plan. I'm working on it while I'm away a little bit. But it's the Pilates instructor and survival guide, how to show up on purpose with purpose for the long haul. It's everything that I mentored my instructors with after their training, kind of filling in the gaps of training, right? Like we talked before our training and you get like
Yes.
one part of the sandwich, right? And not like actually eat this and do this and not burn out, and do it in a way that feels aligned with me. So I'm excited about it. So hopefully I'm planning on 2 options, like a self-guided option, very accessible for everybody, and then a small group kind of 6-week series option if you want community
Nice.
and support as you go
That
through
sounds
it.
great. I think
That's
that
the
becomes a
plan.
great segue for
Yes.
someone who may, like, almost like our personal training or our Pilates, where you do like a large group and then becomes a small group, and the small group becomes a private, right? Like that could turn into like someone who's like, listen, this is exactly what I need. I need more, and it evolves from there, right? So
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited about it. That's what I want to be spending my time on.
nice.
So I'm excited. So at the very least, I'll be doing something And if no one else
Nice.
even reads it,
No, I
that's
think
fine.
that'll be great. I mean, it'll be yeah. Let's keep talking about it. I'd love to hear more about it. And yes, exactly. I've been on the micro community tip, as my wife just said there. That's gonna be my tag word all week.
Mike, I have not heard this
Okay,
word. I am not in the know.
micro
A
community.
micro
Yeah, I mean
community. I
that's
love
all
it.
that we do. Like we're talking about niches and like and cliques and all these kind of like negative
Mhm.
connotations for groups within the groups. I think a micro community is just like a healthy smaller group within your group, right? Like so within the Pilates
Yeah.
space, you have, whatever, all these different like sects of different groups, but now you have the small healthy community that is thriving and is welcoming more people in. That's what we do, right? That's what we should be doing from my perspective. So
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Love it. I love it. Awesome.
yes,
Well, thanks for having me on. I want to keep on here and be freezing all over the place. I'm sure other people have awesome things to say.
absolutely.
But let's connect soon.
Okay, we'll talk
Better
soon.
Wi-Fi.
Thank you. Well worth it. So yes, Alex, a micro community. Jessica, you still got a minute before your client or your online shows up? Give me a thumbs up. Um, yeah, I've been. For those of you who don't know where the origin of this micro community thought came from, it's kind of outside of our Pilates space. And if Jessica's still there, give me a thumbs up. We can jump in, or I'll just get into the story. I've been doing some canvassing for our for the campaign that I'm going through for running for city council in Ward 9. And as I was going around and talking with people, I stumbled across a building, and there's a bunch of people who are working on doing some social committee stuff. And I'll give you the story after. Let me take Jessica in here just while we have her for a minute. I'll come back to my story after because that's what's up. All right. The Thelma story. Hi, my friend.
Hi.
How's your short week going?
It's good. I got my coffee. I'm awake. I think my poor client got her time zones messed up, so I'm just waiting
Oh
to see if
no.
she I know. It happens sometimes. What are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly.
Still happens.
It is what it is. So yeah, I'll wait a few minutes. I hear the kids upstairs doing their thing, so I'll go check on them if I need to soon.
So you're not gonna just hide down there and pretend that you're actually working for another like 45 minutes?
I could. Brian is up there. I could do that, and I have another call in a little bit, so we'll just see. We'll just see
Yeah.
how it plays out.
Yeah. You gotta use those parent tactics when you can, right?
Exactly. He bought them. So our kids have never really been into Legos ever. It's just not something they've ever cared about. And somehow yesterday they ended up each getting a Lego kit at Target. He took them to Target. And I'm not kidding, hours upon hours upon hours of entertainment at this point. That's what they're doing right now. They woke up to do it. So
Wow.
sometimes they can entertain themselves.
For
Requires
sure.
Legos apparently, but
So now you're gonna go buy like a 2,000 piece Lego kit so you
yeah,
have some
no,
time here?
no. Because then if it's that many pieces, I have to help. The balance is you find just the amount of pieces that
Right.
they can do on their own that
Right.
requires no supervision
Yes.
whatsoever.
So for more parenting wisdom,
You come
contact
to me.
Jessica.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
funny.
I
Are
know.
you recovered from you doing your whole Momentum Fest like
I
success?
think we are. It's funny. Last year it took us longer to recover,
Yeah.
and it's really physical. Like it honestly is. We just come home so exhausted, and I don't even realize how much like fight or flight I've kind of been in, I think. And so we
Yes.
kind of crash. And then last year our son broke his foot just a few days after, so we went straight into a
Uh,
cast. So I think that had something to do with it. Um, and this year I've been really intentional ever since Momentum Fest last year. I've been really intentional about kind of trying to protect my own fight or flight and neuroregulation. And it's not from Momentum Fest per se, it's just from the past 2 years. It's just from me noticing, gosh, I have got to, protect my sleep a little bit and protect some of those things so that I'm not so depleted going into
Yes.
things I love, like the
Going
momentum
into
fest.
it, that's
Right,
that's the piece, right? Like we
right.
start on such a low
Yep,
point when we get it. We don't not even aware of,
yeah,
how depleted we are when we're starting the endeavor. So that's a good
exactly.
point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I really focused on that a lot this year. Like a lot time to work for me is a lot of times when the kids go to bed at night, just because they're still not. My son especially isn't in school full time, so I'm with him a lot. So I've been trying to, cut back on that and find other times and cut back on projects. So that I think that helped a ton. And we just the fifth year felt like some things fell into place. Like, oh, the team does know what to do. My husband actually made the best point. It was the week prior, and I always start to get, does everyone know what they're supposed to do? Have I sent out what I'm supposed to do? Did I miss something? It's like those dreams you start having that you show up to your class and you don't know what you're teaching, right? Like I
Yes.
start having all of those.
Right.
And he's like, Jessica, everybody's going to do what they're supposed to do. He said, the presenters are amazing. They know what they're doing. So they're going to come and do awesome. The volunteer team and our volunteer coordinator is awesome. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. The hotel is going to do what they're supposed to do. Let everyone do what they're supposed to do and what they're good at, and let that go. Like, oh, that's a good point. Like I put too much on myself because people know what they're supposed to do ultimately.
Right.
So it was a good point. So yeah, it was a great weekend. We were recovered. Just, I continue to get great emails. I just read one from a volunteer this morning. I'm just so thankful, just so grateful for everyone who came and spent time, and it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's had some, I mean, fantastic feedback from people,
Okay.
on the show over the last week. Like Clarissa is a perfect example of someone who was like new to the scene
Yes.
and was just so excited to be there, so honored to be there, and just realize how much of a launch that was for her to learn from it, to just go into the next
Yeah.
thing. And like, she's like off and running, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. That is honestly one of my favorite parts. And I think it always has been the idea that we can give someone a stage who hasn't had a stage before.
right.
And there are thousands of people out there like this. So I feel we're limited by how much we can do it, obviously, how many presenters we can have each year. But when we get a few who just haven't had that stage before for whatever reason, and to see them step into it, and to be able to say, and Clarissa was awesome. She was even, DMing me a lot, like, is this can I use a playlist? Can I do this? I'm like, I want you to do you. Like, that is why you're here, because
Yes.
I can see there's a lot of you to be had and to give. And so that's what we want. Like, you don't need us to approve it. Honestly, you come and teach a 1 hour class the way you do, whatever that means. And that's what we want people to see. And it's so cool to see people kind of finally take a breath and step into that and say, oh, I just get to do me. Okay. No one's policing that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Right.
then to see all the attendees react to it. And Clarissa, I don't know if she told you this too, but she really stepped up. We lost a presenter just for one class on Saturday, needing to get back. So it was a reformer class. And I just was like, hey, can you step in and do it? Yes. And that's a big part of it, is she really took the opportunities when they were offered. Whether she was scared or not, I don't know, because she's just so empowered in herself. But she really did, like, whatever was offered, whatever we said, hey, can you do this? We asked her to join a panel last minute because she said, I'd really like to be on a panel. I'm like, great, let's do it. And she really stepped into that. And it's a great lesson, I think, for all of us, is even if you're a little nervous or scared or new, say yes. Say yes and see what happens.
Absolutely. It's so funny, right? Like I'm hearing everything you're saying, and these are the conversations I'm having with my son right now, right? At
Oh, wow.
16,
Yeah.
in terms of like confidence, empowered within yourself. You know what I mean? Like putting your, for lack of a better word, putting your signature on things,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good
Like
way to put it. Yep.
I feel like those are the things that we have to, if I can instill at him from now,
Yep.
he's going to hear that enough by time he's in situations like what happens to us. Like, I mean, like we've all had that moment where you have to step on the stage and you have to act like you've been here before, and you want to just do it well and not overthink doing it, too robotic, because you're trying to get it right. You're trying to not mess up and stuff, and just flow and be yourself.
Yep.
Like, all of those pieces, like, yeah, I feel like I'm hanging out on her experience because there's
Yeah,
so many life lessons that all of us, need to revisit, like, just through that, right?
sure. And I think then it's also trusting the prep work. Like it's her coming in
Yes.
and trusting whatever prep work she's done,
Hmm.
over the last years teaching. I think she told us she's been teaching since her early 20s, so 6, 7 years now. That is prep work, even if it's been in a small reformer class. That's prep work for standing onto a big stage. And
Yes.
with funny you say that, I think about that with ours who are young, 4 and 9. But our 9-year-old especially is really starting to see those friend dynamics and having to make social choices, on what I say and what I do and who I'm protecting if they're unkind.
Yeah.
And I stress about, we're going to talk about every single little thing and make sure. And then I think, okay, parenting is helping them do the prep work. At some point, you just have to trust that you have done right as a parent to
Yes.
help become who he is now, and that he's going to make the right choices when he's an adult. Because at some point, I guess we let go of control, right? At some point, we have
Hmm.
to.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, he's going. My Nathan's going on this tournament this weekend, so they're going to Indiana,
okay.
like without parents, like just the team going. And last one was in Montreal, and on maybe the Friday night, he sent me a text message, and it was basically like, "Thank you for trusting me to
Wow.
send me out. Like, I'm in a different province by myself, and like that sort of thing." And it was like, like, who's this coming from? Like, thank you. Like, yeah. So those are those moments, right? Like, yes, you trust and you send them out into the world.
Yeah.
Um, but the other part to that I was gonna say is like the way that she, in that case of Clarissa, like with the way that she presented in her class and stuff, the world is waiting for us to show up,
Yeah.
right? And we can waste those opportunities by trying to be like someone else and trying to fit within this box and try and conform, or we can just like put our neck on the line and just go as ourselves and just truly be us and let that, let the chips kind of like
Yep.
lie where they fall, right? Like, and I think that's a piece where we need to have more confidence to step into those situations as ourselves, for lack of a better word.
Because I think also how many people more, our age now and have been in the industry 20 years, how many of our colleagues do we see now starting to not step back, but they're just now coming into their own and
Mm-hmm.
really teaching from their voice because they were told or felt, oh, I have to do it the right way. I have to
Yes.
teach Pilates this way. So I have
Mm-hmm.
to fall into that box. And so the earlier I think you can trust your own voice a little bit. And I think social media has helped because there's a lot of us out there who are just speaking our own voice. So hopefully
Sure.
people now, but the earlier you can do it and refine it, I think it'll be easier later on.
Yes, and that's a good example of just like the power of the social media to find that positive reinforcement. Like we can both think of people who are just doing it their way, and have a great background, a great lineage, a great understanding, all those different things, but they're still doing it their way.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right.
yes, right?
Exactly. Because we need all of it. And then I also love to follow the traditional teacher trainings, and what archival work is, like how interesting for our history, but find
Mm,
for your voices within that diagram
yes,
is important. And you were talking about a micro community, that's what I feel like Momentum Fest is. And I feel like they can be,
100%.
you can move in and out of them for seasons of life.
Mm,
Like my niche with women's health, that's not a micro community or a niche I ever thought I'd be in. It's not one I ever wanted to be in. And then sometimes your experience and your voice changes and you find yourself in the midst of people who we all need support from each other. And so you can hang out there as long as you need. And then sometimes you can
right,
move on to.
right, exactly. Does Yashik
Oh.
follow you?
I don't know. Oh, hi, you're asking about hysterectomy. Go to my page. I have in the link in my profile, I have a 10-week post hysterectomy workout plan. So just go click that and that'll tell you what you need to know.
Yes.
And
That was that?
I said, and best wishes on your healing, because I know it's a lot.
Hmm. We talked, funny enough that you're on, because like we were talking about that earlier this week. I don't know if you got a chance to watch some of the replay from Andrea Mitchell
Oh,
and actually it was Clarissa. So
okay.
we're talking. I had a guest on last week, Lori, who was talking about her back surgery,
Mhm.
and I asked her a question about around shame. You're a
Oh, I.
Pilates instructor, right? So okay, so that piece.
Mhm.
So I wanted to follow up with that conversation. So we started that dialogue, and then it took a left turn
Yeah.
into divorce. Like, right, and from there we had a conversation, and I had to center it back on the fact that like I have a master's degree in counseling and marriage and family therapy and have had a divorce. So
Yeah.
there's a whole shame piece that you have to battle through when that what you thought was going to be your specialty is now the thing that you're right. But that being said, like with women's health, like I've referred so many people to just check out your page, check out your YouTube, because you've been so transparent about your journey with that, and you've empowered yourself and you've empowered others with it. So for you to be able to say, just check my page, you're going to find some information there. That's powerful. That you've not kind of kept that as your personal story, but you made it a public story to help others.
I think, and that's a great point, and thank you. I think some of why it happened, I never thought I would talk about it because it's really shameful. And for women, so many women will DM me separately. I feel like I'm alone. I'm embarrassed. There's a lot they feel like they can't talk about, especially then if you get into pain with sex and incontinence. I mean, there are so many pieces. And I think it's personal. I do not, if anyone's watching, I don't feel like you have to share your story on every
Mm-hmm.
for you to have healing or help people. I do believe there's some pieces of a personal story that you go through and you can keep to yourself. I think for me, because I'm in the health space, and I feel like I had words to put around what I was experiencing, that was some of it. And also for me, it just ended up being healing for whatever reason to talk about it in those medical
Yes.
actually feel safe to me because I'm a medical professional. So it was a way to put a definition around what I was experiencing. You know, the pain after surgery, I could define it. I could put verbiage to it. So it helped me almost to talk through it. And then having
Yes.
other people come, I realized, okay, no one else is talking about it the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I better keep doing it. And then here we are. So I
Yeah.
even on a good friend of mine from our kids' school. So our kids go to school together. She texted me the other day. She said, "Oh my gosh, I was just diagnosed with a prolapse. I didn't know what to do. I got online and just started researching." And she goes, "And there you were. And I found your videos." So now I feel like I should see you. Like she didn't come to me because she didn't know without searching.
Right.
Or we don't sit and talk about it at the park, but um,
Right.
so that to me
Yes.
is the power of what you can do when you put your story, when you have your healing done and you're ready to share it, and you put your story out there. It can be powerful for people.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Like, between my wife, my ex-wife, and myself, we healed in different ways, and I healed in a very public way, and she
Yeah,
healed in a very private way. And I like the fact that you said that we don't have to broadcast every part of our journey. We can. There's some pieces where like that'll happen. So, thank you for saying that too. I think that's part of it because sometimes people feel like, okay, well, this is the only way. Here we
right.
go, right? Like,
Yep. I heard. I feel like it's probably Brene Brown. I first heard say this, and then I saw it the other day too, and this helped me. That once, if you do want to share your healing and your story, it helps if you've healed from it first. Um, or at least again gotten some verbiage and words around it first. So if you're in the midst
yes,
of something soon and scary and unknown, same idea. Like take your time on your own to kind of figure out what that looks like for you.
yes.
Yeah, share it if and when you're ready.
Thanks, Jonathan. Jonathan saying, I was able to check in for a minute due to a late patient. Have to go now. Want to express my appreciation for. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Just appreciate you and all the work you're doing too.
And I'm here because
Uh,
I'm a client too. So
I know it's like just take it where I can.
like, maybe I should check. I should probably go see if she's here, but isn't that amazing that you can like technology, like
Yeah, exactly.
someone in person, I'm pretty sure, but
Totally. What was the last thing you just said there about? Oh yeah, about that being at that place.
Yeah.
I like calling them checkpoints because, like,
Yeah.
obviously there's always more healing, and I was always shocked by how I could get slapped by another version of the same issue I was dealing with for a season, where I was like, I thought I nailed this, and then it happens in a different context. So I started to call them checkpoints instead of kind of like healing points, where it's like, okay, I'm at this point, so I could share what I've learned to this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and along the way, and just celebrate those checkpoints and be like, okay, I'm here. This is what I learned so far. Let me share what I've learned so far.
Yeah.
And, and when I put those posts up about 9 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and then 1 year ago, like, that was almost like what I've been learning at that point. Like, one point was like, disappointment is a real thing. And the next one is like, this is how I'm taking care of myself. And the next one was like, okay, this is how you charge forward. Like, like, there's a sense of each step of the way.
Yeah. And can you help people with the information you have? So like for me, when I went through IVF, that was just about the hardest thing I've ever been through. And I learned so much, and I was taking notes, and I decided, I'm like, I'm going to write a book about this because women need to know what we're not told.
Yes.
I really wrote some chapters and everything. And then I got through it, and we had our son. And I feel like I experienced my personal healing, but also kind of, I feel like I was able to close that chapter a little bit, like that.
Yes.
Chapter.
Reconciliation.
Yeah, exactly. And I started sharing a little bit, but the messages I was getting from people, because it's such a dark, hard time for a lot of people, I was getting a lot of messages and questions that were kind of like, just tell me how I get pregnant. Just tell me how I have a baby. You did. Just tell me how. And I quickly realized, okay, I can't. I absolutely can't do that. And two, this is out of what I'm comfortable. I don't have these answers. And it kind of settled on me. All right, I have experience here, but this actually isn't something I can help people with. All I can do is tell them, I've been through it. I get it. It's hard. I love you. Like, that's kind of where I am. My background with the prolapse and the health and the medical professional, I'm like, I have something more I can give. So that was an interesting lesson to me too, of, okay, just because you've been through it, you don't have to necessarily fix it for other people. Sometimes just saying, you know what, I've been there. That is hard, and I'm here. I don't have answers for you, but I'm here.
Those moments when you give people hope, and those moments when you can give people strategies.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I know. And that's right where the world is right now. I mean, that's what I like to hear from people is, hey, I might not be able to have the answers. I mean, in this crazy hard world right now, I feel like there aren't a lot of answers, but to hear other people saying, I get it. This is hard for me too.
Yes.
I'm heartbroken too. I'm staying with you. Like that makes a difference during a hard day right now, I feel like.
Absolutely. We were talking about that earlier this week as well. Like, the term I used to use in social work a lot was like availability. Like, we say nowadays a lot, we talk about like holding space, but I think, before that, the catchphrase was just being available.
Right.
And there was times when, I remember one time when there's a child a teenager who died. He was driving home from work, and he fell asleep at the wheel, had a terrible car accident, and died. And a kid that I was very close with, and there was times when we would, everyone's in the drop-in, and I went and just sat on the couch with them. And that was it. Like, I couldn't say, well, here's 10 steps for bereavement right now. It was like, I'm hurting too, but I'm just here for you.
Yeah.
There's a sense of just being available. Like, as a nation, as a community, I'm hurting too, but I'm here for you. Right. And that's a different conversation. That's a hope conversation, as opposed to, okay, well, here's our 5 steps to healing. Here's your 10 steps to having a baby or whatever it is. Like, I think there's just a wisdom in knowing what do we need to do in each situation. So
I agree. And I feel that way sometimes when I post, as a business. I'm sure many people watching them, what do I post? Is this too personal? Is this too whatever? I've decided that exact thing. I just want anyone following me to know that I'm available in a safe space for them. Like it's more important to me that people who haven't felt safe maybe before do feel safe now. They know this is a safe place. Versus
Yes.
um, if people get offended, I'm like, well, then there's probably a lot of other places that you can go that you'll feel safe. So that's like that's okay. But
Yes.
find
But you're
what
still available. You're still available. It's not a good fit, but
right,
I'm still available if
right,
something changes in your world, sort of
right.
thing.
Like that is the
Yeah.
to me is that anyone following me, anyone Zoom client, whatever it is, that they're like, okay, Jessica, yeah, is available and has created a safe space for me and will stand up to protect that safe space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you. I think about you, brave space, safe space a lot. Every time I say safe space, and we talked about safe space at Momentum Fest a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That did come back to me too. And that's the other piece. So just to before you go, just to fill in our audience on that, one of the conversations that we had before on, when Jessica was on, we are talking about safe space, as we just mentioned, and how we talked about a brave space, because it's one thing to have a space where people feel safe to share, but then just welcoming them to be brave enough to share, brave enough to explore, whatever the case is. So we're not just creating a safe space, but a brave space for them to step into it. So that I think that piece is also key. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yes, hi
Well,
Jimmy.
that's huge. And
Yeah,
a lot of this too, I've talked through. Have you had Jessica Van on? I don't think you have,
I
probably.
haven't. She was in the chat a while, maybe last week, and I was like, please.
Yeah, she's
Gotta,
amazing. And if anyone needs, just go follow her. But yeah,
yeah,
she continues to help teach me a lot about what that looks like. And yeah, it's powerful when you can start, like you said, just change it to, okay, is this also a place? It's a safe place to be, but then is it a brave space that you're safe enough to step into your own and feel courageous in it?
yeah, exactly. And I think we're always going to be looking for that, right? I mean, like, I think that it's almost like, it's like us as Pilates teachers, like you're training your eye. It's not like we have to memorize the context. We just need to
Right.
have an eye to recognize this
Yeah.
is how we create a safe space for it, right? Like
Yep.
there's no formula for it other than to just
Yeah.
be sensitive, right?
And it might change per person too, which is an interesting thing. I haven't thought a lot about that, but it does change per person, I think. But also, you need almost to define, you almost need a big definition of what safe space is to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your values, your company, whatever it is, your statement on what you
Yep.
stand for. And then within that, you can change how you speak, to each client, because how you speak to someone prolapse is different than how you speak to someone with IVF or a knee injury or, whatever it is that they don't feel safe around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a crash course in like, yes, nice.
I
This
guess I
is
have to go check on my Lego kids.
okay. Do your thing. Thank you
Thank-
for sharing your sharing. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. See ya.
Bye.
Crazy. I hope you're taking notes there. I think I need to watch the replay myself and just catch some of all that we just said there. Thank you to everyone who just jumped in who are on Jamie's chat there. Quick question for everyone while you're here is, do you have any online classes, workshops, things along those lines that are coming up? Please put it in the comment section so we can cheer you on. We'd love to hear about what you got going on, how you're growing your business, how we can support you. I'll repost all those different things. So tag me later if you're watching a replay on this as well. I want to come back to the story I was just opening with before Jessica came on, and that was around micro community. And now we have another picture painted around that with Jessica talking about Momentum Fest and how that is an example of a micro community. People who may not have had a stage before being able to come onto the stage, people who have a deep understanding of movement, being able to come on and just celebrate that in all their color and the way that they want to give it expression. Mentioning how Clarissa came in and covered a class for somebody. And there's no airs about this person is on way up on this pedestal. I don't want to follow after them, sort of thing. Like there's a collective sense of we're here to level up, to share, to have fun, to share joy of movement, to learn, to grow, to sweat, all those different things. So that's an example of a micro community over 5 years, what she's built there. The example I was giving from a campaign trail for me was when I was going into one of the apartment buildings in my area. And there was a lady sitting in the lobby, and she welcomed me in, and it was a lady by the name of Thelma. Oh, I wonder if I can have her picture here. Super sweet lady, and I do some, I'm on the Nextdoor app a lot, and she's on there as well. So she had been following me on the Nextdoor app, had recognized me, and was like, oh, come on in. So we had a fun chat. Can I even find her picture? One moment, please. There she is. Bam. So this is my shout out once again to Thelma. I've been just giving her love like all week. Super nice lady. And what she does is within her building, they'll do raffles and they'll do pancake days. They do spaghetti nights. They do garage sales. The garage sale was a bomb. It was terrible. They hated it, but even then they learned about it. On a sidebar with the garage sale, everyone just brought down the junk from their garage or from their apartment or from their storage locker and just dropped it off. So they had so much stuff they had to take to Salvation Army afterwards, and they promised themselves they'd never do it again. But that's what happens to the community. It's not always like warm and fuzzy. The point I'm making is that within this building, within Meadowvale, within Mississauga, within Ontario, they have this community that they have built. They do all kinds of stuff together. They look out for one another. This lady came down. She works at a business where they get leftovers. So they get like these nice packaged meals. So she'd bring meals over and give them to her neighbors. Like she was joking how this lady fed her for a week. You know what I mean? Like there's all these different things that happen within this micro community, which makes the whole community stronger. I love that. Love that. And that's happening in the community. And I see how that happens in our Pilates community, in our fitness community as well. Case in point, our core conversations. See, Marion just jumped into the room. What's going on, Blaze Pilates? Like people like that who we can have conversations with, can join, they'll just jump in the chat. I have people who are like my regulars when I do freestyles like this, who will just show up. Stefan, Marion, there's so many people who just pop in. Jessica is, just finished doing a conference and still had some time due to a cancellation to just share. This micro community, we know about it. We're growing it. And that's the thing with the micro community, is that it's trying to get bigger. It's not a clique that is closing in on itself. It's not a niche that doesn't open or welcome to other people. It's a community that wants to grow and thrive. So that's what we're doing here on Core Conversations. I hope and I trust that many of you are doing that within your own studios, your respective spaces. Like I know Mary's a perfect example of that with her people who come at different times. And who was on yesterday? Laura was saying same squad for like 10 years showing up at the exact same time. Those are examples of micro communities. How do we cultivate that and ensure, one, that they're always welcoming, two, like Jessica was saying a minute ago, that we can enforce that it remains a safe place, that we don't tolerate things that try and lock it off, but allow it to continue to thrive. Loving that concept and feeling that, it's happening within my local community and it happens within our space, it's happening in our digital space. So keep that going, keep those micro communities growing, cultivate them like you're a gardener, let it flourish, let it absolutely flourish. If you guys have any comments or thoughts on that, please just put it in the chat. If you want to join me on screen in the last 15 minutes that I have here, give me a thumbs up and I will bring you on to just share your thoughts on that if you don't feel like typing. And yeah, I'll just take a sip of my coffee and I'll wait for the feed to catch up with what I just said. right, I'm gonna bring Mary on. Come on in, Blaze Pilates.
Hi.
Hey, look
Oh,
at
hold on.
you. Drop that logo for us.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to switch my camera. Hello. Why am I backwards?
Can you hit the button to reverse the cam?
I know, it's not reversing.
Huh,
Oh,
there you
there we
go.
go. Hi.
Love the glasses. What's up?
What's going on?
Oh, just chilling.
How's everything?
Just
So what are you
things,
talking about? Micro communities?
micro communities.
Mm-hmm. I just popped
And
on, so fill me in a little bit more.
okay, so let me do it like this. We've talked a few times, you talked about the community within your studio,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have your guys, you have your fighters, you have your classes, you have your strong squads, you have like all these different people. Do you guys do like social stuff like off the clock? Do you connect? Are things like that happen as well?
Absolutely. It was one of my students, her birthday, maybe 6 weeks ago, and she cooked for all of us. She made us this Italian dinner. And then when I looked around, out of like the 14 people at the party, they were all Blaze members, guys, girls, young, old. She's 69, but like a 40, 69, years old. And just everybody was there. She had one of her friends, and the rest was us. And I was it was a beautiful moment for me. So I just kind of sat back and looked, and I'm like, wow, they're all friends, outside of training. And I think like-minded people are drawn to the same things. And then if you create that atmosphere for them to communicate amongst themselves, they do develop friendships outside of here. And that just reinforces them keeping their practice alive in their lives, on a daily basis.
You said it all right there.
And one of my students is here right now. G. Goodman.
Yeah.
Hi, Gail.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, but that's exactly it. So I mean, the intentionality piece to what I'm saying about micro communities is that do we create those environments where those things can happen? And like I remember when I used to teach my Tabata classes while I was working at Lifetime, and there was times when I'd have 10, 14 people in the class, and I just made the class so hard that they had to hold on to one another, and they just banded together because they were all dying and hating me at the same time. But that created an environment in and of itself. Or they could just crack jokes, and then next thing you know, you hear that they all did something the night before, and you weren't invited. But like it was like their thing, and you're like, that's awesome. That's great that
Yeah.
you guys connected, right? Like you've cultivated that. Like that's the
Yeah.
micro community piece, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was definitely my intention of how I wanted the studio to be more like the atmospheres that I grew up in, a dojo and a gym. And, everybody saw each other all the time, and we trained all the time. So there wasn't a life separate and apart from that. We trained every day. So we ate together, we ate together more often than not. You know what I mean? It was an everyday thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I go to Pilates 2 times a week. It was, this is what I do. This is who I am. These are my people. I mean, it's a kind of a natural, something
Progression.
natural, organic that just comes out of it. You're hanging together more than you are with your friends in a way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then my wife's comment, next thing you know, you marry a Tabata client. She took my class back in the day.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
There's
There you
that.
go. there's your couple of advice, right there.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've just been like, and that's kind of my reflections from my campaign stuff, right? Like, we always joke about like the way we do Pilates is the way we do life, and I'm moving into this political realm, but I'm like the things I see there, I'm like I'm doing that over here already. Like you mean like that's, and I'm celebrating when I recognize it. Like, wait a minute, that's what we do over there, happening over here, right? So.
Yeah, people connecting. It's all one thing. It's all the same. It's all the
Yep.
same. And wherever I actually wanted to be a politician when I was young. That was my when I was in college. I studied
Really?
political science. Yep, I wanted to be a politician, make a difference, and but I realized a better path for me was making a difference with people through movement. But yeah, I feel that that's great. I mean, it's just an extension of you making a difference, whether you make it there, you feel like you can be powerful for people in that way and a voice for your community. You should do it. And I think you'd be great at it, because you are a voice for us. So that's just continuing that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. Yeah, and I think that's it, right? For all of us, is like, who do you want to become, right? And how do you want to give that expression? And that's changed many times for me. Like, I went to school wanting to be an architect,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean? Like, and then you kind of just end up building people instead of building buildings, and then you end up
Mm-hmm.
building communities instead of building people. Like, it's that's just how it goes, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
celebrate those things. Very cool.
Definitely. Carrie.
Nice. Hi. Hey, Carrie. So yeah, so that was my reflections on micro communities. I'm glad you came on because I know, like, you got that going on in your space, and
Yeah, I
you
think that's what it is. I think that's what makes this space different than any studio around here. And not everybody comes in and wants that or like into that. And there's a place for everybody. But when people find their place, they stay. They
yeah,
stay. They feel like, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something a little bit more than an anonymous gym membership, or just to bump in and out of classes. Like, if you're not in class, I'm texting you, hey, are you okay? Where are
right,
you? But we
yeah,
have that permission. It's not like I'm texting you, I don't know, for some monetary. I'm literally really like, where are you?
like genuinely,
How's
like, where are
everything?
you?
What's going
Yeah,
on? And some people don't want that. They're like, you might leave me alone, Pilates. Like, I'll see you when I see you. But for the people that want it and are into that type of community, this is the place for them, and they really like
right,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
and we have a good time.
yeah. It sounds like it.
I mean, I just went to the symposium. We have Pilates family all over the world, and that's a cool thing. I always had that with karate as well. You go to these a symposium or a conference, and there's people from all different countries speaking all different languages, but yet we all train together. We all do the same thing, and I love those moments. It doesn't even need to be translated. You didn't even need it. It would have been fine if it was in Italian or whatever
Yes,
language, because the communication
absolutely.
goes beyond that. And that's nice to go around halfway around the world and simpatico with everybody. It's cool.
Hmm. Very cool. Yes, getting some love from Jamie and from Carrie there. Nice. Just before you jump off, do you have any, like, online classes, anything like in that way that's coming up that people can be a part of? Nope, you got to be there.
No, I've been playing with teaching some karate to Pilates teachers, but oh man, I'm busy. I'm so busy. Just here. Pop
Yeah,
in when I can. Say hi to you. I just got back, so usually I'm not available. So it's nice to say hi, see what you're up to.
nice.
Just
Appreciate
blazing
it.
along down here, do my thing.
That's right. Keep it
Yeah.
going. So good.
All right, man.
Nice. All right.
Well,
Thanks
good
for
luck
jumping
on
on.
your election. When is that? This coming fall?
October, yeah, October 24th. So the
Oh.
hustle is on. So good.
Nice. Good luck with that. I'll see you soon,
All right.
okay?
All right. See you soon. Thanks so much, Marianne.
Bye.
So I think hit the X in the top right corner. There you go. Done. All right. So good. Good, Carrie. I hope you're doing well. Jamie Isaac, what's up? All right, party people, we are out, but thank you so much. Thanks for the conversation around micro communities. Keep cultivating communities in your respective areas, whether it's digitally or in your space, but celebrate that. Keep it welcome. Keep people feeling like they are safe and they're welcome to be themselves in a true way in your spaces. And we are out. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.